Okay. Um, so this second one, I'm gonna put the camera over here. Um, I hope this sounds good. I got shitty equipment. You know, I don't do this for a living. So, but again, I just want to put it down. Just ideas. Just it's, you know, some things are true to the way I think. Some things aren't. So this isn't a political statement or an agenda or a manifesto or anything. It's just an idea of an interesting story with the thought of a perfect world. So it's like, is a perfect world one where everyone's perfect or one perfectly? Um, is it possible to create a world where we all live together and it's not a fear-based society where you do this or else, you behave this way or else? Because that's really what we do, right? You know, you don't want to go to jail, so maybe you don't kill your neighbor who you just can't stand or something like that. I mean, they take retaliation out of the equation where when I grew up, you could fight somebody and you wouldn't have to even think about the police being involved. Now it's scary as shit. You know, someone starts throwing down, you're like, man, I really don't want to go downtown. Like, even if it's not my fault, that's annoying. It's like going through the Matrix. It just sucks. I'm talking downtown Phoenix. So you're always going to have these people that contradict societal norms. Um, but like if you were to look biblically, you look Cain and Abel, and there's a murderer right there. But you can't act like these were civilized people. These were Neanderthals. You know, I mean, could have been an accident with a rock. You know, oh, like they didn't know. You know, it's funny. It's all people act like they were just these civilized people, and you know, these were fucking cavemen, basically. Um, anyway, so you got to think about that. But what if now that we have knowledge, we have extensive knowledge, and we'll have more knowledge as time goes on. Hopefully, good knowledge will be obtained and not misinformation or biased information or agendas and things like that, but just good data on good parenting. What is good for a child? Take everything out of it. Just a natural mom, dad, child. I'm even taking adoption out of it just for this situation that's several thousand years in the future where there aren't any abandoned kids and things like that. So there's no need for adoption. All these things have been wiped out because the human race was basically wiped out, save a few thousand people, and then that was decimated. And then basically you have people maybe like the Masons who who kind of established the opportunity and took advantage of it for a perfect society, knowing what was about to happen, saw that coming, and were able to react instead of just letting certain people kind of still control things and just rape the earth. So, which is what happens with corporations. And this lithium battery craze is insane. Forget about cars, just everything. It's crazy. It's open pit mining. It's exploitation. It's so like that's not really a fair world. A perfect world doesn't include stuff like that. We can't just look the other way and smoke and mirrors. It's we're all one. We're a peaceful humanity. We're all one. You know, and nobody's above, nobody's below. There's no government. Everything's run by AI. Code was written. It took a long time to write the code. It took a long time to compile data. It took a long time to gather data on behaviors, reactions, best case scenarios. You know what? You know a lot of things you have to consider, and so you'd pretty much have like an instrumentation technologist who would just kind of oversee what all the AI is doing because you'd have to have some human interaction, or eventually because time goes on for so long, and if humans are behaving well and not doing wars and stuff like that, the baseline is eventually going to change. And so in this story, I say the baseline for the AI was created was 2,000 years. So it'll take 2,000 years of really good behavior, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're going to have to change the baseline, change their behavior. What's going to happen? And the programmers couldn't really control that. And so there was this possibility that if if it truly did reset a baseline, that maybe the AI would degenerate. um, and so there's always human interaction still to try to maintain that with the AI. So they have people who are not basically employees, but they would be like the Masons. There's got to be those people that are looking out for the better of mankind, only for the better of mankind, not for conspiracy reasons, exploitation of minerals. I mean, there's no need for that, because when you have a fully automated world, and this is actually true, right now we have food rotting, and it's not because um, it can't be sold. It's just it's cheaper for the government to let pay a farmer to let that rot than take that, put it on a cargo ship, send it overseas. But why is it cheaper? Why is money involved? These are human beings, right? So you live in a world that is a perfect utopia. You don't need government. Government's control. Everything can be automated. What is the government actually doing for you other than giving you stress? Taxing you, spending money, that is sending it to other places. If we all work together, it wouldn't be a problem. And the thing was, you wouldn't be working. Everything in 2,000 years, you won't be working. So these are not like, oh, that's crazy. Well, it would be crazy right now to say tomorrow this would happen. No, this is going to take pretty much an annihilation of the species, and then you have to start fresh because you have to nurture good people. And this is for the story, not real life. I'm not saying I'm going to nuke anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying for the story's sake. So you really have to start from scratch with everybody on board. Nobody has any, ill intent, nefarious kind of things going on in their mind, like, oh yeah, and I'll be king of the world. Nothing like that at all. I mean, these are people vetted through, thousands of years, essentially, and masters of what they do, and so literally building the cathedrals of the future, right? So the buildings that will house everybody, and give equality where people can just pursue their inner potential, whatever that is. Art, watching TV, playing sports, whatever. As long as you're not hurting people and hurting yourself, and you still take care of yourself, and there's a balance. There's not all this. There's not lies. There's transparency. Um, People are being monitored, but they don't know it, and that's the only thing that's kind of shitty on this thing, because AI is everywhere, right? It's monitoring, and so it's evaluating. It's not monitoring to like get you in trouble. There's no law enforcement. It's just monitoring, and there is dark energy out there. There are dark people out there still, and those people also are dealt with by humans, and they're sent to a place of the gods. This is weird music. Just realized, and but I guess it's fitting. So, and I have it on the moon, and there's no windows, and they just get put in there, and they're kind of left to their own devices. If they get out, you know, they can't survive. And I'm thinking of throwing somebody in there, or just making people aware, like, what they're unaware of. So there's always smoke and mirrors. You can't have utopia. It's impossible. You're always going to have people like, I think, like Judge Dredd, like someone mentioned, they're people living in sewers. But there's not going to be this trend contrast of haves and have-nots. Everybody is a have. Everybody is a have. There is no concept of not having, because there is so much, and there really is abundance out there, and it's there right now. It's just that because we live in a consumer world, you have to buy it. There's thousands of TVs, millions of TVs on the shelves, and everyone could have a TV, but you need to buy it first. And so in this world, you would be allotted whatever it is you need and stuff like that, and you would give back to the community however you chose, if you chose to. There's no need really for anybody other than just having human interactions, social activities, recreational, art. All those things will be, just that will be the focus of the human civilization, is just to create and be themselves, truly themselves, and not have to worry about those food, um, water, crisis, wars, all these things that just get under your skin and take away from your true happiness. People who don't identify a certain way, or this and that, like, these are all distractions. They truly have nothing to do with being your best self. That's That's between you and yourself and living to your potential and deciding what you want to do with your life. But having to deal with all of that garbage because you feel a need to is a waste of time and energy. And the human species will get to that point because it's really ridiculous how much time is wasted on these labels where we're all just humans. Like, we'll look different, we'll behave different, but we're all the same. Medical care will be actually just you'll have a scanner and then whatever device you have to hear whatever you have, but everyone will have access to it. There won't be need for paramedics. There won't really be need for ground transportation, but you'll have it if you want it. There'll be a good balance of everything. It'll just so that's the dark side is the box and the moon. Um, and it says here the imperative the humans aren't aware of the monitoring or of the box. They act too much on emotion, which is their greatest weakness and strength. Passing by the moon, tall windowless building juts out from the moonscape, casting a shadow. To the dark side, the earth majestic and glowing, healthy, vibrant. So the earth has healed itself. So there was like a nuclear holocaust, which after the U.S. bombed the pipeline in Russia, it didn't take too long, and that's kind of scary if it's true, as far as the bombing of the pipeline. Um, and it just makes you wonder, like, all these elites have their bunkers, right? So you have people that know that, and so they also have their bunkers, and they know where these other bunkers are, but these people don't know that they have bunkers, like the Masons or whoever it is, whether Knights Templar. Um, and so the Holocaust happens, and pretty much humanity's wiped out. It's insane. It's insane. All war is insane. It's insanity. I mean, there's it's insanity. I was in the Marines and the Army, and yeah, it's insane. Where was I? So they're in their bunkers, but what they do is they're prepared to live like that for a long time, but they also know what is other guys, so they gear up. They've got their proper NBC gear, and they go and they exterminate all the elites, all of them. Like nobody's missed as far as you know. There's got to be like Doctor Evil somewhere, you know. But maybe they don't kill everybody. They just make sure they can't get out, and they die in their bunkers, things like that. So then they go back to theirs, and it's a few hundred years. And I had them starting out with 1,972 people. I don't know. That was just the year I was born. So, but I wanted it a low number. It can't be a big number because it would be such a huge thing to coordinate, trust. You'd have very few people. Like you'd have other people that knew about it, and they were just like the brethren and stuff like that. But they couldn't all go. Um, and so they live in their bunkers for several hundred years, and then they start coming out creating colonies. But before they create the colonies, they actually go and they have all the engineering and smarts and equipment that they go and they pretty much level the earth where there's like a civilization. They're able to hide it, and so that or build on top of it, and it takes several hundred years and generations of these these masons, or I don't know why I keep calling them masons, but it's kind of what I envision people with in touch with uh, humans, humankind. Um, so then there's no crime, no news really, no need for news. You talk to people, they share things. You can obviously go on here, but there's not like people like bent down on their phone, living in their phone. They're living life. It's clean, sparkling clean. Nobody to get corrupt. no judgment. So there's hospitals, like I said, is automated, fire is automated. Um, Little need for human skills, like I said, there would be the like instrumentation technologist guy, the coding, working with the AI, monitoring. Um, but for the most part, they can fix themselves, and that it was built that way. Everything was built that way. It's not retrofitting either. Um, and then it's the people who they don't have AI for some reason interfere with removing the dark energy, whoever that may be, um, because they don't want that data involved with, the baseline and things like that. It's usually a pretty negative um, situation or whatever, or potential. So that's why the humans are involved in that part as well, that aspect of things. They have, because that's the only they deal with, and it's very rare. It's not often. Everyone has parents. There's no daddy issues. There's no mommy issues. There's no need for cheating. There's no gold digging. People are just themselves. People are happy, and there's, I would like to say, no plastic surgery. Some freaks out there. Anyway, that's enough for today. Just kind of setting the scene. Um, so we see that the earth is clean, that everything's available. It's kind of utopia. There is no money. I mean, you just go to a market and kind of like Amazon stores. You would just have. It wouldn't even be rations. I mean, there'd be no obesity. People would respect themselves. People wouldn't feel like stuck. They can travel freely. So people who love to live in cold weather climate, or like say Canada, but they don't want to be there in the winter. They don't have to be. There's kind of like the autonomous cars where they say, well, you could just buy the car and then it could go work for you. So people would do that with properties, and however they would be allotted, but everybody would have the same basic thing. It wouldn't be gray and communist. It would just access to, and it'd be thousands of years old. There wouldn't have been this greed, people trying to corrupt people and stuff like that. So you're like, well, what if I want to make? Well, good for you. This is my fucking story. So anyway, um, yeah. Okay, so I think that's it for today. So yeah, good world, everything's available. But now we'll kind of focus in on a character. I haven't picked it yet. I just this shit popped in my head, and we'll someone's home. Um, somewhat. I'll pick a character, create the character, and then probably have some. Well, gotta have an inciting incident, right? So if it is a movie, you gotta have that about 20 pages in. So got to have that dark energy, and then we got to have that that trip to the moon, and then what the fuck is that thing that we saw in the first frame, briefly or whatever. I mean, not that we didn't expect something like that, because it's 2,000 years or whatever in the future, right? So, 1999, I think it was. I don't know. I'm making numbers up anyway. Don't really know. So, it's true. Remember that. TikTok violating. So anyway, yeah, that's what I got so far. That's just I was doing something. I thought I'll start writing this, but I mean, to think of a perfect world. If you were to think of a perfect world, some people are like, oh, I'd have a yacht and all the babes and blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, that's so like in your bubble. I think of like for humanity, perfect world. You know, like when you see like an Instagram post and someone's in like some paradise and they go, "This is my view today and everything's perfect." Yeah, I mean, I beat his girlfriend last night because he drank too much. You didn't see that part on Instagram. Um, I'm not saying but it's just we portray this world that because that's what we really want. It makes us feel good to see those images and to see beauty and to see the earth thriving. Um, but you can't look at that and then that other shit's going on, like in the Congo, where kids are working for $1 or two a day so you can have a fucking electric vehicle. That's not utopia, and that's the problem. Because people don't think about that, you know. Um, so anyway, I think I might have a link in my. I'll put a link in my bio. I sell T-shirts. I can make T-shirts too. But yeah, I'll put my web page in there. But if you're watching, thanks. I know it took a long time, but these are ideas. Again, these aren't. I'm not trying to get views. I'm just really getting my ideas out there, put them down for my daughter. That's how. This is how I think. This is one idea. Maybe I'll jump to and fro and make sure I label them correctly or something. So anyway, until next time.